Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. Shir sponsor Louis Nishmas Arbiak Rishon Labas Yitzchok. We're holding in Sanhedrin Daf Samech. This is the Daf we learned on Shabbos. We're reviewing it over here. We're starting the Testament base in the bottom of the page, and where it brings Shimon Omer for Akishuf that one is chayav for sorcery. My Tami Daf Shin. How do we know that sorcery chayav kilo? The Chtiv says the Gemara Daf Sarach Odalef Machshefo Loy Sechaye. Correction, not skilo, but that ben noyach is chayav on gishuf. So it says machshavot chayav chtiv kol shochem beimo moisumos kol sheyesh lo bechal kol shochem beimo yesh lo bechal machshavot chayav. Anybody who has the hisser of having a relationship with an animal, he also has the hisser of sorcery. Lo zoyim yavla kilayim minonim elavi nodet. Omal shmul no makro es chukoi say tishru chukim shechakakti lecho kvar. Meaning the chukim that I already gave you, keep. So, and it says there, don't kilaim with your animal or with your field. The mashmos, the pasuk is that this is something that was there already in the past. Not start from the Torah, start from the past. An animal is barbon. You mate one animal with another. So a similar way is to do grafting of two trees. There's no difference So it doesn't matter the location. So also if you're saying the chukim means it was already there. So what do you do with the pasuk that says regarding the chukim that we're talking about over here? In other words, Rashi says, referring to any time it says in the Torah, chukoisa. So also shamata v'shchukoisa tehashto. Hoke chokes chukoisa tishmeru chukud demikor tishmeru. Meaning, Rashi explains the difference is if it says shamatim before or after. Shamatim is a new thing. Shamatim what? The new chukim. But chukoisa, the chukim shechakakta that was already there in the world, that is the unique telling you that this thing is something which was there already, meaning that Meinoyach also already had the isser of harkava. Not every kilaim, not just putting two seeds together, but grafting. So we're going after we finish Benoach, going back to a klolo gadef, someone speaking against the Kodesh Baruch Hu. He needs to speak about the name of four letters. What does it mean, name of four letters? Here's the going to exclude two letters. Pshito, Yaki Yosi is Yosi Tan. It says Yosi. We saw Yosi when they're in the Mishnah refers to a four-letter name. Maybe it's just an example. It could be also a name of two letters. Kamashra. Rashi brings over here that you don't need to have the Shema first of 42 letters. You see, it's also considered to be a Shem. Again, the Mishnah brought a four-letter name. Maybe you need a bigger name. I'm just giving you an example, but the Chiddush is four letters. Now the Rishonim learn what's the four letters? Yud Kei Vav Kei. One Nikud is, what does Yud Kei Vav Kei mean? What is the issue? So I'm going to learn the Kamon. There's a Hoigi Hashem B'Yisrael Yosef. What does it mean? Does it mean that you read the name Yud Kei Vav Kei the way it's written in the Siddur, the letters that are the Nikudos they have underneath it, or that you pronounce the letters Yud, then a Hey, then you say Vov, and then you say Hey. You say it in one shot. And the same Nikudos over there, you should learn it over here as well. What will be Megadif, how you say the name. Now, most Rishonim learn that Yud Kei Vav Kei is the name. But the Rambam brings that it's Yud Kei Vav Kei and Adnus, and Aleph Dal Nun Yud. We mentioned it before, mentioned it here as well. Here's where it comes. The Biskrov says, Biskrov explains that according to the Rambam, the way you read Yud Kei Vav Kei is Adnus, meaning, not that you have, I can't pronounce Yud Kei Vav Kei, so instead I say a different name, an independent name called Adnus. That's al Pshat. But the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the way you read it, is like the Kri of Yud Kei Vav Kei is Adnus. So Yimei Adnus is not a separate thing, it's the pronunciation Yud Kei Vav Kei. So the more Nigmar Adin, the din was finished, so now you have to stand. They hear the Shir Meferish and they stand the Dayanim and they tear the clothing. Only we know, I know they stand up. Ehud comes to him, we'll see in a moment, it's Egloin, and he's sitting up there in his second floor. I have something for Hashem. And he got up. Now what are we talking about? Egloin Melech Moav, Am Yisrael was under him for 18 years. It caused a lot of suffering for Am Yisrael. So Ehud ben Ger comes to him and he gets like a private audition with him in his room. And to get him up of the chair, he says the name of Hashem. The Eglon gets up, and then Ehud goes and kills Eglon. He leaves the room, locks it, and goes away. The servants of Eglon assume he's in the bathroom, but it takes a very long time. He doesn't come out. They open up, they see he's dead, and that caused Am Yisrael to win the battle against Moav. So one says, he's a goy. He doesn't know Yud Kivov, he only knows the like him. Omad, he stands up when he hears the name of Hashem. Yisrael Hashem Meferish, Lachas Kal V'Kamo. Yisrael hears Hashem Meferish, they have to get up, and that's what they get up when they hear the call of Hashem Meferish. Kori Mino, I know you tear. So these are the servants of Chizkiyahu. Rav Sheko was the general, or one of the people in the entourage of Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin came to conquer Eretz Yisrael and to capture, when Chizkiyahu Melech was the king. Now the Rav Sheko gets up and he says he comes to speak against to try to convince, to persuade, to demoralize the soldiers. And one of the things he said is, you think Hashem will help you? All the gods of all the nations around us did not help us. How can he help you? So he compared HaKadosh Baruch Hu to the Avodah Zarah. And that's called Chiruf V'Giduf. So that's why they tore out their clothes. So we tear tearing the clothes. You tear the clothes, but you can't sew it. I know you can't sew it. Elisha sees Eliyahu Hanavi leaving the world by going with the chariot up to Shemayim. From Mitzayk, the lawyer, I didn't see him anymore. He held on his clothes. He tore them to 2 tears. He tore to 2. And you dash him, Korim, tell me 2 tears. Of course, 2 tears. It was stayed that way, meaning he didn't sew it back. So anytime it says Korim, it means not sewed back. Someone hears it, or he hears someone heard it, he has to tear, as we see by us. The Eidim don't have to tear again. They already heard it one time, they already tore them. So what did they hear? Maybe they have to tear again. When he heard what Rav Sheko was saying, he tore his clothes. He tore because it was the first time he heard it. But they already heard Rav Sheko saying what he said, he didn't tear it again. If you hear a name of Hashem and Kol coming from a guy, you don't have to tear. If you heard Rav Sheko, what about Rav Sheko? He was the general of Sanhedrin. Yisrael Mumer, he was a Jew. He was a Jew and he spoke against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the only thing you cry out for is when you say Yud Kivavki. So the Abchir argues in both points. Someone hears a name today, doesn't have to tear. If you're going to have to tear, you're going to be tearing the whole time. So when you would tear, you learn Yisrael, you hear Yisrael saying bad things. Kiri Kulahai, Am Yisrael speaks bad against the world. If you show them a Yuchad Mikmir, do they know Shema Yuchad? Today you don't do it because it's just too much. So you do it for a guy and for a kinui. You see that's what Bechia holds. The second 8 says, whatever the first one said, I said the same thing. This have to repeat the words. This works in dinim. Usually Rabbanan asks the second 8 to be very specific. It's it's not needed. It's not necessary. Here you can't, there's nothing else you don't want to say Shem Hashem again, so that's why you go with Kidorais. If it doesn't work, so we're going to kill this person based on the testimony of only one, and the other one saying, I just heard the same thing. If the second one says, whatever the first one says is fine, that is okay. Why you have to hear the third one? Because the third one is part of the group according to Rabbi Akiva. And if he becomes Zaynim, everybody else becomes Zaynim. That's what I want to hear. I want to listen to the third one. You see, we're in the Mishnah of Samach Amud Beis. So the Mishnah, someone who worships the Zohar, is chayav skilo. It doesn't matter if he worships in the normal way of worshiping. Chadam is a beach, Chadam mekater. Mezabeach does the korban. Mekater, he puts the fat. Chadam menasech puts oil. Chadam mishtachave puts wine. Chadam mishtachave is that he bows down. Ve'chadam mekablo elo leloya. He accepts him to be a god. Or he says, "You're my God." Rashi says either it's the same thing, meaning he accepts it himself to be a god by saying, "You're my God," or it's two different things, not in front of him and in front of him. If someone who hugs and kisses, he cleans up, or he puts a little water in front of him. He cleans him, he washes him. Puts in him oil. He puts clothes on him. Puts in him shoes. That's only a loisas. There's a neder or shul. So all these cases. So what are we getting over here? As we'll see in the Gemara. If you have a kedarkoi, that's skill. Someone who does other avodas like kedarkoi, but it's the way it's done by Samidash, skill as well. Hashtachavaya, also skill. Everything else is a loisase. Labal. So Labal Pur, Labal Pur is a Viduzoro that someone has to defecate himself in front of it. And will avoid those. That's the avoid of it. So you chayv. Like even the markelis, someone throws a stone to markelis, that's the avoid as well. That's considered to be avoid and the Shobach Shalom and Dav will speak a little bit. What is these two avoid and what's the meaning of them? What it could do over here, there's a discussion of Rishonim if Muslims, supposedly, they also throw stones in Mecca. And the Rambam says that's not Avodah because they're just doing, because the old Israelis used to do it. Today they believe only in one God, so it's not Avodah, but it's an interesting discussion of Rishonim bring. What does it mean? So we'll explain. Like we just said. Regular Avodah, the normal way to worship this specific Avodah. One of these four avodas we mentioned in the Mishnah. Even if he did, that's not the normal way to worship. What about throwing the blood, which we do in Beis Hamikdash? So even though Nisuchi means wine, refers to blood as well. If you learn from Zovech Echron, to talk about only kochim outside. We're not talking about kochim outside, talking to the Zohar. That's putting a carbon. Mekater, Imurim, Nasech, wine, Minayin. Any avodas you do in Beis Hamikdash, you're chayav when you do it for the Zohar, even though that's the normal way to do it. The fishiyotzos vichol do avodas prim. That's what you do it only inside. If you do it outside, you chayav for the Zohar. Now the Rabbis are shtachavoyo. Shtachavoyo is not part of avodas that you do in Beis Hamikdash. So and you do skilo. So oynish shamana. That's oynish. How do you know a warning? What about putting on shoes, dressing, etc., kissing? Why is one avodah? You're saying you're putting that on its own. That's what you do in Bismillah. So understand the last sentence. What does it mean? Hashtachavoyo is done we have all the avodas of the Zohar. It says you're not allowed to worship over the Zohar. Now it says zvicha and it says hashtachavoyo. So zvicha is teaching you that anything that you do in Beis Hamikdash is also and you have skill. Hashtachavoyo says the only thing which you don't do in Beis Hamikdash, special avodah, is bowing down. Bowing down, you chayav skill of it, but not any other avodas like kissing, hugging, etc. The ones they asked in a second, why do you say the opposite? We'll see in a moment. Almighty, you remember Zerach Kodshim B'chutz HaKos V'daber. Zerach Kodshim B'chutz Karisu. What do you mean? Zerach Kodshim B'chutz, you get cursed. If he was warned, you get a straw and you kill him. Kilar Karis. Kamashwan, that's a chiddush to what? That he gets only curse. Maybe Shtachavoy teaches you that all the is chayov. So why is Tzivech mentioned? What is Michashav? If someone is shechting an animal and is intending to throw the blood for the Zara, he wants to put the fat with the blood with the Zara. It says that's Asura. It's also. I mean, Asura, the Beimel. Shlokish doesn't work. Right? How does a Mechon know it's Asura? Because you learn it from Pigul. What's Pigul? A person does avodah, think about doing something wrong in the next avodah. He already knows it's also. If you're according to Shlokish in a pasuk. You're good. We learned it becomes also. We never found an oinish for someone who has bad machshava. We need the pasuk for that. The whole Likud is the animal becomes also or not. Of course you kill the Adam. When a person bows down to the mountain doesn't become usher because it's anything which is connected to the ground does not become usher. So Elamah is still chayav because he did avodah. So the more basically concludes because someone who does an avodah is doing avodah zarah, you will get misa. Even if you hold the behemoth is not usher. So you're saying if you had a bad thought, you're doing one avodah, thought a different avodah, so maybe the behemoth is not usher. That's a machlekes behemoth is usher or not usher. But he did avodah zarah. So everybody will agree is chayav, and you don't need a pasuk for that. So I'll cover the pasuk zivech. It's going to teach you that avodah is prima usher, but hashtachavoya is a single avodah, which is not avodah prim, and that's we have skill lafuke, hugging, kissing, dressing, which are not. One just will end with because the daf is doing in Pashas Yisrael. The big discussion we showed him Rambam the Ramban arguing several mitzvahs. We mentioned all kinds of psukim. What about the pasuk in the Seres Dibros? Lo yochel Elohim acheir al panai. Why is that not include everything? Ramban learns from there. You learn the Yisrael the Zara, and only the details you have to get to our Gemara. Interesting discussion. What exactly you derive from that pasuk, and how does that fit with our Gemara? But we won't go into it right now. We'll just leave it with that. So we'll stop over here and continue from here, Be'ez Hashem, in tomorrow's daf.